On July 26, 2024, more than 10,000 athletes and tens of thousands of spectators will converge on Paris for the start of the 33rd Summer Olympic Games. The world has just dealt with a pandemic and a war, and another humanitarian crisis is ongoing. Will Paris 2024 be able to bring the world together? Will Paris 2024 be able to attract enough eyeballs? What is the Olympics Games 2024 Paris going to look like? This is going to be a 16-day extravaganza that marks the first time the City of Lights has hosted the world's most prominent sports festival in a century. Olympics 2024. Paris will be staying true to a number of slogans and motives. For starters, Paris Olympics 2024 will be the first time that women and men participants will be in an exact 50-50 ratio. There will be an equal number of female and male athletes participating in the Olympics, which marks a huge milestone for gender parity. Since day one, the Paris 2024 project has been all about openness. A number of Parisian monuments will be transformed into magnificent competition venues, welcoming people from all over the world to an open-air sports arena for these spectacular games. In keeping with the slogan for this year's Olympics, Games Wide Open, the opening ceremony will take place outside a stadium setting for the first time. The plans are ambitious: a 3.5-mile boat parade along the Seine before as many as 325,000 onlookers on the river's banks. The hundreds of athletic events, hosted by dozens of venues across Paris and other cities in metropolitan France, will be open to large crowds. Paris is taking extraordinary measures with respect to security. The recent history of violence in France, including the 2015 terror attack in Paris that left 138 people dead and at least 416 injured, stalks the masses to this day. So, an important factor around the 2024 Olympics is the security concerns, which is also going to incur huge additional costs. Media and the participating countries have been continuously raising concerns over this matter, which has built considerable pressure over the French government. The organizing committee is hiring managers and volunteers after vigorous background checks. The French government has even called its friends for help with trained security personnel. The humanitarian crisis created by Israel recently crossed the 6-month mark, raising fears of a prolonged conflict and regional instability. The devastation in the Gaza Strip has provoked international outrage, isolating Israel on the global stage. Russia continues to gain ground in its military offensive against Ukraine, and the overall situation looks quite dismal on that front. It is certain that the international context is particularly tense today. Tony Estanguet, president of the Games Organizing Committee, recently told Radio France, "I believe in this universal event. It's up to us to preserve, to talk about sport, and not to politicize the subject too much." The scale of the Paris Games is immense. Nearly 40 sports and more than 300 events hosted in at least 35 venues in Paris and other cities across metropolitan France. At least one venue that hosted events during the 1924 Summer Olympics in Paris will be put to use again: Stade Yves du Manoir, the home of the opening ceremony 100 years ago. This time around, the 117-year-old arena will stage field hockey competitions. The vast majority of events are set to unfold across France, though there is one exception. The surfing competition will take place in a village on the southwestern coast of Tahiti. Paris organizers chose to hold the surfing events on the French Polynesian island because it offers an opportunity to engage French overseas territories and their communities in the Olympic Games for the first time in history, while showcasing France's rich and diverse heritage. Iconic venues such as the Palace of Versailles and the Invalides are being transformed into temporary sports facilities, broadening the Olympic experience to include renowned historical sites across Paris. This year's Games will be more widely accessible to at-home viewers thanks in part to streaming. Peacock, the streaming platform owned by NBC Universal, plans to invest heavily in live coverage of the festivities, including a multi-view feature that will allow the subscribers to watch up to 4 competitions at the same time. The historical and current connections are palpable, making the city a living legacy of the Olympics. Paris is undeniably a city of fashion, culture, and art, but as the birthplace of Pierre de Coubertin, the father of the modern Olympics, it is equally fitting to call it a city of sports. In 1892, Coubertin gave a speech at the Sorbonne University of Paris, where he first publicly proposed the revival of the Olympics. On June 23, 1894, the International Olympic Committee was officially established in the same auditorium, marking the beginning of the modern Olympic movement. Thank you for watching, and don't miss our next video if you want to find out more about the Olympic Games then and now. Tell us in the comments section what else would you like to know about the Olympics. Subscribe and turn on your notifications. See you next time.